Hello and welcome back to the Lamenters. This conspiracy, this mystery, this dark parable of a cycle of perhaps cosmic levels of influence is now coming to yet another revolution as the Lamenters have discovered at long last much more of the lore behind what they have been encountering all along throughout this season. And you guys have basically now grasped evidence that speaks to what you have been gathering all along and surmising all along, that a conspiracy of sorts involving 9 different families that were caught up in a war that happened 100 years ago, that this conspiracy involved them employing this dark witchcraft, this magic, to turn the tides of the war. And though you have not yet identified what it is that they summoned to win the war in their favor, you do now have pretty conclusive evidence with the book about the nature of this decision and about the components, specifically the location, the plateau above the Crescent ravine, where you have the 9 tree stumps, the petrified tree stumps that align with the 9 candle holders. You did discover that there are 9 identical clones of Niccolo Vincenzo. They seem to be self-aware, but also lacking in certain areas, almost like an amnesia has taken its toll on them. The 2 that are awakened have not held back any information from you for anything that you've asked, and the other 7 that are still asleep in a kind of a torpor state. Below the chamber of the sleeping Vincenzos, underneath the rug, you found a trapdoor to a crawl space. And in that crawl space is where you found the chest that contained perhaps the clothing of the original Niccolo Vincenzo, the signet ring of the Vincenzo house, and the book of lore that kind of contained the background information. You also found a casket, a very simple pauper's casket. And in that casket, you found the desiccated corpse of a long dead person who bore a resemblance to Lord Lee in terms of features and clothing, and perhaps most importantly, of the signet ring on the corpse's finger. And that is exactly where we left off. So 3 of you are in this crawl space right now. Freya, Elena, and Brolgood. And you have come to this remarkable discovery. You've gathered these final things. You gathered the final candle holder, the book. What are you guys doing? You have a torch. You could see here very clearly in front of you is a corpse that bears an uncanny resemblance, though, even in death, to Lord Lee.
I think we passed up the case with the book and candle holder. We passed it up the stairs.
Okay.
To Gizmo.
Fredo.
Fredo. So I'm not sure if we did, but at least we'll mention it now.
Yeah.
Gizmo, go look at that book and study it more closely. We glanced it over, and it's really interesting. You really need to study that book.
Yeah.
While we continue searching down here.
Any reactions from Vincenzo's to mentioning the book? I'm taking it, but
No, both of them kind of look at the book and nod as if that was what they were referring to all along.
Yeah. Start listing through it. At first, I skim if there is anything which resembles like magic or something like that. And if there is not, then I'll start.
You need some time, because as you're examining it, it's gotten darker. So you kind of have like a lantern and a torch, and you're trying to read this
Yep.
With limited light, and you don't have a table or anything. So I'm going to say that you're taking your time to examine it.
Is there anything else in this crawl space where we are? Can I
No.
make a search to see if we're missing anything?
You can make a search for sure.
That's a 1.
Okay. So you most accurately discover that this crawl space looks like it was maybe part of the excavation, the mining excavation, and that there's a continuation of the crawl space that goes off kind of towards the east. And it descends and it kind of goes off towards the east.
What shall we do with this Lee corpse? I vote for just the 3 of us simultaneously stabbing him in the head and the chest.
I'll smash his face with the mace.
Just basically have our swords up above him and just 3, 2, 1 plunge, so that if he reacts, he'll rise up and just impale himself on our blades, just to be sure. So we're not getting the same glitch effect at the farm.
Did you remove the signet ring?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
I just want to make sure.
No.
I want to stab him before touching him.
Okay. So you guys kind of align yourself with your weapons. You do a 3 count and plunge. There's no reaction. The corpse actually like crumbles and it's very dry, splits apart.
Right. Well, it looks safe. I'll reach in and probably tear the whole finger off while trying to get the ring.
Basically snap it off. Like it's like a twig. And then you pull the ring off of the finger. Looks very old, but authentic.
All right.
How?
Olga, you do see, like I said, it looks like this crawl space was part of the original mining excavation, and it looks like there's a kind of like a dig that descends and heads to the east.
Elena, would you like to take a stroll with me to the east? See what's down that way?
Crawl, like you're talking about very like 3 foot.
Okay.
Oh shit.
That good mud crawl.
Right.
It's pretty dry. I mean, for what it's worth.
It's not wet. All right. Well, if it's that big, I probably wouldn't be able to carry my shield and mace out. I'd have to actually just strap those up and then crawl. Is that what it's looking like?
Yep. So you guys crawl down for about 30 feet.
Okay.
And you come to what looks like a rock collapse. Make another search roll.
Got a 2.
That was a 2.
Both of
That's
you
for me.
seem to sense that this is not a very compacted set of rocks that's blocking this tunnel. Vis-a-vis, like you could maybe push through.
All right, I'll push through.
Okay. I'm not going to have you make the strength rolls if you're taking your time. You basically shove through, and the initial kind of push through is a challenge, but then after you do that, you break through and it reveals basically like an open. And as you crawl out, you find yourself on the mucky bottom of the ravine, of the Crescent ravine.
Oh shit. I have my sword, my mace, and my shield out now that I can stand.
And I bring out my...
So you guys can see, like, basically through the moonlight, you could see there's, about a 30-foot climb up, back up to the plateau. And you actually, from where you're at, you could see, like, the flickering of the torches up by where Credo and Gizmo are.
Is there... How big is this area?
So you're at the bottom of the ravine on the eastern side. I mean, it goes in both directions for 100 feet. But you have about an 8-foot wide level part at the bottom before it goes up both sides.
We never really investigated the bottom of the ravine, did we?
No.
You certainly did not.
I would like to have a look around.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
give it a little check.
Bolgan, you have your lantern.
I have a torch.
Okay. So you guys start walking. Do you want to go south or north?
What do you think? Bro?
South.
Okay.
All right, let's go south.
Start
first.
walking south. You get about 30 feet. Like you haven't even really started to make the curve around. You get about 30 feet through, and up ahead, you see what looks like 2 zombies. But it looks like they have maybe been at the bottom of this ravine for a long time, because like there's muck and mud that is like they're basically trapped in the mud. So they're like moving, but they can't get up.
Uh-huh.
There are like layers of rocks and mud over them. You could walk around them and continue.
Okay. No, I'm gonna finish these ones off.
Okay. You smash them. I mean, there's no point in rolling, like they can't move. You smash their heads while roll, holds the light, and then they stop moving.
What type of clothes were they wearing, if any?
These ones look like peasants from this area, but they definitely look like they've been around for a while, like
Okay, so
a month or
not
more.
any of our Oak Point friends.
No, these are peasants from somewhere in the region, but not. They look like they've been down here for a while.
Okay. I think we should search them, bro. Good.
I don't want to touch them.
All right, let's leave them then.
You guys, like as you go around, you encounter this a couple more times, right? Like basically zombies that are like that fell down into the ravine and literally like their spines are broken, or bone, like their legs are broken and they're kind of trapped. So you smash them. You get to the end of the southern route of the crescent, and you see where it opens up into the rise where you could walk up and come back around up the plateau.
We check the other end.
Yeah, let's check the other end real quick.
You do, and it's basically the same thing. You come across about 7 or 8 zombies, all of whom look like they fell in, broke bones, broke spines, or just otherwise got trapped. You smash them, you finish them off.
Okay.
All right, doesn't seem like there's
Isn't
much else down here.
So let's get back to our friends.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? Are you going to go up and around and then back down the stairs, or are you going to crawl through the mine shaft?
Let's go back through not the top or the mine shaft, but the place that was kind of hidden.
Okay.
On the side.
All right. So you guys up. Meanwhile, Freya, you're sitting in with the dead remains of Lord Lee. What are you doing?
Listening for any sounds coming from the tunnel.
Your friends are gone for like a while.
I'm basically waiting down there and just talking up the little ladder and see what's going up on there, but waiting down here to see if anyone comes back down up the tunnel.
After a while, they return. You guys all get back to the crawl space. Just to be clear, you are taking the book and the last of the candle holders and the Vincenzo signet ring and the Lee signet ring. Okay, so you guys got all those things.
Okay.
You crawl out of the crawl space and you are in the chamber of the sleepers again. Doesn't look like any of the other 7 Vincenzos have awoken. They all seem to be in that stasis. What else?
Well, waiting for Gizmo to finish reading.
Yeah. Any new information other than what was said before?
I'm going to have you make an intelligence roll under. Tell me what the result is.
2 over. It's dark here.
Yeah, you just feel like between nearly dying and just the the general situation here, you feel like you just need a rest, and you feel like maybe if you had a proper like library or a study in which to work, you could decipher this. And even it kind of makes you think of like, if you had access to more historical kind of books that could give you more insights into this era and the folklore about magic from 100 years ago, that it could help you. And as you're kind of thinking about that, it occurs to you that you do remember when you were at Castle Lee and you had started doing some research and you had gotten some kind of revelations, but not, you feel like there might have been more that you could have researched there.
Yep.
Um,
After third or fourth headache, I close the book and turn, well, this is not a good place to study, and I think we can get more information if we get to some kind of archive. For now, I would prefer to get some rest somewhere. So, and I probably think we shouldn't rest here. I'm putting book in my bag.
okay. So you guys are all together. What do you want to do?
Should find a place to camp, and then we can talk strategy about what our next move is.
Mm-hmm.
Would like to get back to the horses so that we all have a horse to ride, and so that we can be
Yeah,
mobile.
What are you doing with the 2 Vincenzos?
it's a good,
Good question.
Well, I don't think they will want to be left down here. So
Yeah.
they're either
Let's-
coming with or perish. I would say take with, because as Gizmo was reading, we can still question them on the contents of the book.
What are we doing with the other 7?
Just leave them here for now.
They either wake up or don't. Hard to say.
Well, we just close the trap door, close the front door, the entry door, lock it again.
Before we leave the chamber, I'm gonna hold back Credo as everyone else leaves first. I need to talk to Credo for a minute, just me and him.
Okay.
Moving.
I'll walk out into the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Close the door.
Found
Guards, what were guards doing when we were doing
They're wherever you guys want them to be. If they're watching out for zombie works, then they're up above.
They were down here in the chamber with us, so they're walking
So-
out with the Vincenzos and
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
Basically, Vincenzo guarding duty is on them.
Okay. All right. So Elena, you and Credo are alone.
What have you found, Elena?
I don't think we should leave these bodies here.
Does everyone think we should?
I don't mind what the others think. I just really don't think we should leave them here. If they're part of the ritual and they can still be used, I think that's bad.
Is there any way to wake them up?
I'm not talking about waking them up.
Just burn them.
I'm gonna smash all their skulls is what I'm gonna do. I don't have enough oil to burn them all.
Well, I got your back, whatever you decide.
I'm just gonna smash all their faces.
Okay. You do. I mean, none of them wake up. You smash one. Meanwhile, the rest of you guys are going out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it, maybe just Gizmo turns to the group. Should we check out those knives and ropes again that were and a point to which I assume is Vincenzo 1, but I can't discern them probably. So which
So
were
as you were saying this, you see both of the Vincenzos, they like cry out in pain and they fall to the ground, writhing in pain.
What's going on?
Like the first Vincenzo is like, ah, ah, and the second one is like, ah, ah, and they're both like holding their heads as if they have like a migraine. And then it seems to like ease for a moment, and then they're like, ah, ah, and then it's like, ah, ah, and like
with each corpse.
This happened 7 times.
yeah, basically, but progressively. So what happens is like by the fifth one, they have like nosebleeds and like blood coming out of their ears, and they're like they've stopped screaming and they're just like writhing in pain on the ground. After the 7th, they look like they're unconscious.
I wonder if they can't survive without their other parts.
They're still breathing, but they're unconscious.
Oh. Guys, do I know any effects which might do that?
Sure, make an intelligence roll under and tell me what you get.
6, which is 10 under.
You are confident that you have never heard of anything like this.
Oh, this is strange. Oh well, I don't want to be here any longer than I need to. Guys, I turn to the guards. Can you help us carry them out?
The guards are like, sure, yes. And they kind of scoop up the frail unconscious Vincenzos and they start moving up.
And our horses were at the top.
No.
Yeah.
We
think so.
rode
That's where
them
we're
around
going.
to the back entrance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys get out. Credo and Elena, you finish off the job, and you guys go to meet your friends. You see when you guys get out that the 2 Vincenzos are unconscious. The guards.
What have you done?
What's that?
What have you done, you guys? I'm pretty sure I know what you did, but
Whatever do you mean? What happened to the Vincenzos? They just pass out or something?
they were screaming in agony, like
Strange.
7 times, and then by the end they just fell unconscious.
They are truly one being that's been separated into 9 then. Sorry.
I don't say anything, but you notice there's a bunch of gore on the end of my mace that's hanging on my belt.
The guards, so basically you guys have your horses. The guards kind of, I guess they each take a Vincenzo on their horse and kind of strap them so that they don't fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we let the rest of the horses free?
Yeah. We're gonna. I don't want to owe for those horses.
No, we can bring them along as long as we can.
Oh yeah, you could tie them into a train. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Let's just find
You guys have to,
Cause
like,
it's nighttime, right?
That's different.
Find a place where we can lay low.
It's night,
Yeah.
right?
You can ride at night with lanterns or torches. You just can't haul ass at night.
Right.
You can go at a slow piddle, over the countryside and head back towards wherever you're going to go. Where are you going to go?
Well, should we camp or should we press on?
Oh,
I think Gizmo needs to rest.
Well,
Yeah.
Rollgood, has I forgot which one of you has the best bushcraft.
Me.
Okay. So like you know that you're not you're a decent ride from anything, but the Arnulfson farm is the closest, basically, if you wanted to
Yeah.
ride to the place. After that, the ruins of the Bellow farm. And then after that is Oak Point. And then after that is the Kerr farm. So it depends on kind of how far you want to trot through the night.
The gizmo would do well to have a sturdy
Oh.
place to rest.
Yeah, maybe the Arnold. Yeah, the Arnoldson farm
Oh.
probably be the best bet.
So you guys tried,
Is bushcraft and tinkering in the same category?
but bushcraft is more like the equivalent of like survival. So it's
Okay.
like crafting and
The
stuff. So
foraging and hunting one, I think.
make me a bushcraft roll.
Okay. I got a 1 and I have 5 dots.
You easily navigate through the darkness. There's a bit of a fog in the air because of the change in temperature. But you make it through the open land and you come upon the abandoned Arnoldson farm. You guys do a cursory and quick kind of check out to make sure there's no threats. The house seems to be intact. So you go inside. There's room for 4 people to sleep at a time. So who's taking first watch and who's sleeping first?
I can
I'll
take
take-
first watch.
I'll take it with Brogood.
Okay.
I can
The
regain.
guards
some
are gonna just like basically take a couple extra blankets and lay the Vincenzos out on the floor. Now, other than them laying down on blankets, do you guys like light a fire in the hearth? Or I mean, what are you guys doing? Is there any other kind of There's no like food left in the house, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's still the bedding and the beds are there and you know there's wood out back, so you could have a hearth.
I don't mind if there's a fire.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys have a little fire going. For the first watch, Elena and Brolgood, roll a D6 and tell me what the result is.
I got a 1.
1 and a 2.
Yep.
Your first watch is completely uneventful. You guys kind of, you know, check out the windows every once in a while. Every once in a while, you go out of the house, do a little perimeter walk. Totally uneventful. So 6 hours go by. Whatever. You pass the baton to who? Who are you having do second watch?
It'll be me and one of the castle guards.
Okay. Roll a d6. I will roll for Castle Guard.
It's a 4.
Okay. Also a 4 and a. So you also have a uneventful night, and you have rested, and at dawn, you guys all can wake up.
How long was this? That was like 8 hours.
So I'm going to say that there was an overlap, you know, but basically you like, if you didn't take a watch, you got 10 hours of sleep. So you got a nice night of sleep. And if
I would like to, is it possible to like wake up 2 hours earlier and start memorizing spells?
yes.
Okay.
So how many of you guys were at half of your hit points or above half?
I was
Elena
at
was.
1 over half above.
Okay.
I was
So if you
above.
were at least half or above, you regain a full hit point from your peaceful night's rest.
Okay.
For those of you who had less than half of your hit points, you still haven't recovered any hit points.
You don't get nothing.
Now,
Except for rest.
you could rest the entire day if you want to rest the entire day, like all day long. Light duty. Basically, you're hanging out at the Arnoldsons all day.
Right.
Oh,
Following night, then you can start recouping some hit points.
I suppose we could stay here and have Gizmo.
How bad are you, Gizmo?
5 of 14.
Oh, Shit.
Get him
So-
to half, maybe.
He can memorize spells. He can continue to do research.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, I'll say,
Okay.
will work. Okay, he's not moving around.
Yeah.
Right.
The rest of you guys,
Okay.
who want to do bushcraft to forage and hunt, I'll say that you could spend a little time during the day foraging and hunting to get some food and obviously water. So go ahead and make your bushcraft rolls.
I can
All
try
right.
that. I got a 1.
I got a 5, but that's still a success for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
a
got a
3, 2
1.
over.
I got a 1.
Okay. So between the three of you guys, you restock a whole bunch of water, and you get some hunting done, fishing done, and you gather some good crops. You find some salvageable vegetables and even some fruit. So you bring a bunch of stuff. The guards spent the rest of the day cleaning up the Arnulfson house because it's been neglected. They kind of dust and clean and sweep, and they, clean off the holes. Yeah, basically they're kind of fixing up the house. And speaking of fixing up, they literally do fix up the house. They salvage some wood and repair some of the broken shutters from when the Arnulfsons were being attacked by the orcs and the zombies. So they're kind of like fixing up things around the house.
Mm-hmm.
The entire day, the two Vincenzos remain asleep and unconscious.
Have they changed in appearance at all?
No, they look the same.
Okay.
I mean, the blood dried, but I'm going to say that the guards like cleaned them up and like maybe moved them into a bed while you guys were awake doing stuff.
Okay.
So Gizmo, what spells did you memorize for the day?
Read magic. That is certainly one for study, and I have one spell slot still occupied by one enlarge because I didn't cast my second one. Then I'm gonna memorize probably invisibility and summon, and that should be it.
Okay.
And then get to the study of the journal.
That's what I was going to ask. Are you going to cast read magic, and are you going to do that to study the journal?
I at this moment I want to more study what's regularly written in it, like just
Okay.
the text. Not
So you spend, I'm going to say like half the day just like reading and analyzing the journal.
Yeah.
And it gives you some insights, but again, without like history books to give you more context about what was going on politically 100 years ago. It's a lot of like personal anecdotal information, but not the context that you need to understand the broader picture.
and then
You do gather that it was apparently a desperate situation for all of these different feudal fiefdoms, because they were being basically torn apart by three larger monarchies who were at war. And that was ultimately what led to these 9 fiefdoms these 9 families making the decision to join together to do this ritual.
also I want to make notes of unreadable passages, if any.
Oh yeah, there are quite a few. Not unreadable, but I will say that as you've studied it, I'm going to let you make another intelligence roll under.
Okay. 4, which is 1200, I believe.
Okay.
Second.
As you are reading this now in the light of day, you begin to see that there are secret passages written. They appear to be like, at first they kind of seem to be notes in the margin, but you see that they don't make any sense. But as you hold them up to the light, you see that they're backward script, and that like some of them are larger than others for emphasis, and it's almost like encoded messages hidden throughout the journal that you feel like might be related to something having to do with the magic in the summoning.
Yep.
If you cast the read magic spell, you feel like you would have a greater understanding of this.
Not yet.
Okay. Afternoon passes, evening comes.
Brolgood, now that we're here, I remember Darren telling us after the inquisition of that orc. Now that we're here, I think I remember him mentioning that the orc mentioned that there was a grove where the wizard and some other dude was with some flaming sword, and that there was a map in a mine with a white capstone. We did find a map in that mine, didn't we? Could that be the map that the orc mentioned?
That
We
might
did find a
be.
map.
Does Gizmo still have the map, or did Elena have the map? But it definitely would like to know where the orcs came from. The orcs must have a training camp somewhere. They were trained so well.
Yeah, that guy mentioned the grove and that it was on a map. So maybe,
Okay.
Gizmo, do you have that map we found in the mine?
I do believe I have only the.
It's probably in your scroll case.
Yeah.
I don't know if I gave it to him or not. I know because
I probably have
Okay.
only one from that was the false missive.
I think I have it, and I'll put it out on a table or something for us.
So Elena, did you have the map? All right.
I think so.
All right.
I put it on the table so you can look at it.
All right. So we try and study that map, see if there's any markings.
There was an X on the map, I believe. Like there was a mark, but it didn't I don't know if it said anything. Did it, Bill?
No,
But there's just an X on there.
correct.
And where approximately was it located on the map?
West of the Crescent,
West of the Crescent.
west of the Crescent Plateau, into the woods.
Somewhere where we haven't been yet.
Right. And that was coming out the side entrance
Yeah.
of the dungeon?
Yes.
Okay.
So after a full day of rest, those of you guys who had fewer than half of your hit points gain 1 hit point back. Those of you who had more than half of your hit points, you gain 2 more hit points.
Ah, I'm almost full.
I am 1 below full.
Well, still 5 short.
Okay. Evening comes.
So
Gizmo, you feel like your understanding from a mundane perspective is that if you were to actually be able to interpret and decipher this magical code, that it could grant you some insights into how the summoning.
Yeah. Since I got this, it's good enough reason to cast it. So yeah, casting read magic on it.
Okay, take some time. You cast the spell. As your magical senses begin to identify more about this, you were able to glean from reading these coded kind of notes a couple very important things. For starters, what was being summoned was a terrifying creature or creatures. This part you're not sure about, whether it was singular or plural, okay? But that these creatures were basically destroyers, that they could be sent to destroy. and that there was components that were needed to summon them and to dominate them. You further understand that the location of the plateau and the 9 candle holders, this was part of the thaumaturgical circle for summoning to increase their ability to summon and to dominate and control these destroyers. And that there are key words that are emphasized throughout this that reference 9 sacrifices. So there's 9 sacrifices that are made on the 9 tree stumps. The 9 candle holders are there to contain and create the summoning circle, and to grant thaumaturgical circle benefits. In other words, to dominating. So there's the sacrifices, the candles, and then the keywords that you're able to identify through your spell in this book are basically what you interpret as like magical names. And there appear to be 3 of these magical names. Now, what this grants you mechanically is this. If you were to try to replicate this spell, this summoning, and you did exactly what was indicated, you would have significantly more ability than what your present caster level is to summon and control to dominate these creatures. This would give you a +3 on the domination roll. For the summoning roll, if you had all 9 of the candle holders and you had 9 sacrifices, you would have a significant bonus, because for every 2 hit dice of sacrifices, you get a +1 bonus to the domination roll, or 1 hit die for 1 bonus. So basically you'd get a +9 to the domination roll, but you'd have to sacrifice 9 people. But it does intrigue you because you basically now have the name of 3 creatures. But again, the reference is confusing because it refers to this destroyer, but also as a trilogy. So it's kind of like it refers to them as one thing that are also 3, like a trilogy, but 1.
Oh man, lucky lord. My first reaction after understanding. Man, if I could plunge so much money into it. Oh well. Oh, not for now. And yeah, closing a book for now.
Okay.
And,
He said maybe next time.
Elena's just flicking brain matter off of her mace.
Yep. Night rolls in. You guys eat up some dinner, and we're gonna do first watch. Elena and Brolgood,
Yes.
give me a D6.
Wow,
Is it
I'm hot
4?
with the ones.
4?
4 and a 1. Okay. Uneventful. You pass the baton. Freya, give me a roll. And Credo, give me a roll for one of the guards. D6.
1.
3.
1 and a 3. All right. Another uneventful night. Those of you who had more than half of your hit points, you may now regain yet another hit point.
I'm full.
Back to full.
Getting closer.
Yep. 1 under.
4 to go.
Okay. So the morning of your second day at the Arnulfson farm arrives. And as you guys are kind of cooking up the last of your foraged food from the day before, you hear the voice of one of the Vincenzos. You hear him like on the bed, and he's like, Where am I? And you see him kind of like, he doesn't even sit up. He just kind of like rolls over and leans up on his elbow. And he's like, where are we?
Oh,
What
out
happened?
of the mine for the first time. What do you remember?
Ooh. We were leaving the prison and I had great pain. That is all I remember.
Yeah, for some reason, you and and that one there started screaming in pain and then fell over. I really don't know why, but you seems to be recovering.
He says, yes, I am thirsty and a little bit hungry. And he sits up and one of the guards helps him over to the table and sits him down where he eats some of the mush that you guys have put together, the stew that you guys have put together, and he drinks some water. Couple minutes later, the second Vincenzo wakes up. And he sits up and he looks around and kind of does the same thing. And he's like, what's happened? My head, I feel like I was hit by ruffians in the head.
I hold in my chuckle.
Well, we were in the corridor when we tried to leave the mine, and you and the other one here started screaming and fell down unconscious. It's about 2 days. We are currently studying and recovering and finding what our next steps will be. We are probably heading to Castle Lee.
Vincenzo too is like, I do not remember this, but I am feel very weak. I would like some water. He drinks. You notice that Vincenzo 1, though, his demeanor changes a little bit. And he says, you said we have been asleep for 2 days.
Somewhat around that.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like we were there just a moment ago.
Oh, that happens when you fall unconscious. Also, I heard so.
Ah, yes. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps, yes. And they
Been through.
drink some water. And,
You've been through a great deal. Continue to rest, and we will bring you along.
yes. So after you guys have some breakfast, what do you do? Also, are you doing any new spells this morning?
Just relearning, rememorizing read magic for occasion.
Okay. All right. So what do you guys do? It's about 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm still not at full, but we might be able to get on journey towards Castle Lee.
That might be the best course.
Seems
Our
like the best
friend-
move.
Our friend at the church might be able to help us destroy these things, and we need to bring these two and the horses and everything back to the castle.
And report back.
Yeah.
I-
Get paid.
If,
So you guys aren't going to do a day trip out to that spot on the map?
Unless someone wants to.
I just,
I
I'm
mean,
not,
I'm
I'm,
I don't care either way. You
I'm
just,
leaning that
yeah.
way.
I
You're
would
leaning
rather
that way?
go check that out, but I don't know how Gizmo's feeling if he can stand up
Yeah.
if we get into a fight.
I don't know if Gizmo can withstand a
Or-
deep journey into the forest.
Should we send the guards with the Vincenzos back to Castle Lee, and then we can take a little jaunt?
No,
Or-
we
To the
should
grove.
send
I
them
think that
along.
would give Castle Lee an advantage. if
or
they
do you
know
want the
that we
guards to
have the
stay here
Vincenzos.
with Gizmo and the Vincenzos?
We could do that.
And we
While
could,
while the three of us go check out,
Yeah.
Well,
The four of us.
Or
all the four of us.
Split the
That
party.
might work.
split the party.
I mean, it's totally up to you guys.
We've been safe for 2 days. Hopefully we'll be okay for 2 more.
I'm ready to go. I'm full up.
I'm
I'm
ready
good
to
enough.
fight.
I can handle it.
Let's give it a look. See.
Famous last words. I can handle it.
I'll be
We
trading
can
in.
approach and take our time on our approaching.
Mhm.
Okay, so I guess Gizmo, just tell me what you're going to be doing other than resting for the day.
For today, I think that I ascern from journal what I can ascern here. So I'll be basically checking what's mental states of our guards and Vincenzo's.
Okay. Also, one, mildly important thing. Where are all the candles?
One is still in the box for our in-minus satchel, and the other 4 are distributed between Brogood and Freya.
Okay, so Freya has 2, Rolgood has 2, Gizmo has 4, and one of them's still in the Vincenzo chest.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Great. Dun, 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 dun. So the 4 of you ride off from the Arlson farm bright and early. It's 9 a.m. By noon, by 11, you get to the Crescent. You see the plateau. You do not see any zombies. You do not see any orcs. You continue to ride. You kind of reference this map, and you ride to the west, and you see where the woods kind of get deep. And there's a great forest beyond, like miles and miles of forest. So you begin riding in, and you're able to ride about 2 or 3 miles in, but there's no path. Like you guys
Got a
are.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So those orcs that we fought, we know they came. Would it be able to, like, bushcraft, like, track where they came from so we can maybe find a way?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm good at searching too.
That's a success for me with the bushcraft.
Okay.
I got a 1 for 3. I have 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
I also got a 3 out of 4 for searching.
Okay, so I will say that you guys are able to make good time, but so here's the thing: there's no path. It's not like the North Road where it cuts through the forest and it's a major trade route. This is wilderness. You are able to, between all of you guys, like track the orcs and how they've moved through the forest. The orcs move with like a military group would, in a certain way, in the sense that they're like single file, right? So you're not exactly sure how many numbers there are because they walked in a single file, but you could tell by their boot prints and the size of the boot prints that this was like where the orcs moved through. But they do kind of weave and wind. So at a certain point, you get about 3 miles into the deep forest and you come across a creek that's about 20 feet wide, and it's not super deep. Like you could walk through it on your horse, right? It's probably 4 feet deep in the center. But that's where the tracks lead you to. And what you don't see is boot prints across the way. So you're heading west, right? The creek runs north and south, and you kind of lose the tracks when it gets to the creek.
They came up or down the creek.
Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to go to the creek.
Can we
Trail.
reference the map to see if we can tell where the creek?
It looks like
which
it's
direction.
I mean, it looks like it's due west. It's not like a scale map or anything perfect. So
Yeah,
Right.
what
generally.
Head west in the creek and see
4
if we
miles
can
or,
regain
like-
their tracks.
right, but you don't know if it's going to be like 2 more miles or like 20 miles.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you get to the creek. Do you want to cross right there, or do you want to
no.
go north?
Let's go down. Let's go down the creek in the direction of what we think the spot on the map takes us, and I'm gonna try and like keep an eye on the other side for tracks to see where they come off
For
off
exit
the
tracks.
river or creek
Mhm.
into the
Okay.
woods.
So you're going to go south.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make another set of bushcraft rolls.
Fail.
Also searching, or
Foraging and hunting, right?
This would be more bushcraft, like foraging.
okay.
Yeah, it's a success for me.
Finally,
2
one
over.
against one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys go
Oh, I
Like-
got a 2 anyway. Oh,
200 yards south along the creek before you see where the boots are. Like, so it looks like they walked a long way up to hide their tracks. But you
Mhm.
find them, you cross, and you're able to then continue to follow them further west into the deep forest. You travel
All right.
for 5 more miles, and you come to an area where it starts to ascend. Like it's like your horses are clearly going up hills now, and you even see some of the hills where like the dirt has faded away and it's actual rock. You continue ascending, and ahead of you, basically, as you look up, are just more big trees and more hills. The next mile of your travel is at a slower pace because of the fact that you're going up at a pretty decent slope. And you get to kind of a plateau, sort of a clearing. And you see that this clearing looks like there's a lot of, there's like a whole ring of space that's open. Okay. And like a ring of trees. But this clearing is like 50 yards, in radius. And you see that there are stones, huge like stones, similar to the stones that you saw as you were kind of going up. These look like natural rocks that are kind of part of this area. Make a search check.
Fail.
I got a 4 out of 4.
Success, 3 of 3.
Okay. So those of you succeeded, you hear the sound of running water in the distance, like a waterfall almost.
I hear
Maybe
waterfall.
we should. Maybe we
I
should.
think maybe we should go on
leave-
foot.
Yeah, leave the
Yeah.
horses and go on
So
foot.
you can find a tree that's in the circle of the clearing to tie up the horses. You head further west, following the sound of the waterfall, and it ascend. Like once you get into the trees again, it continues to ascend, right? And you get to you're like climbing at this point, like on all fours. You're climbing up the rocks, okay? And the further up you go, the more you hear this sound of the waterfall. And you break through this cluster of trees, and you see right in front of you this incredible vista, right? It's like you look up and you see like mountain, and you see waterfall cascading down, and you see the waterfall hit this pool, and then it splits in 2 directions and kind of goes around the area that you're on, around this hilly area that you're on.
Crescent-like.
Yes, very much so.
Yes, it is.
Um,
Like to inspect the waterfall.
Do we see anyone or tracks?
no,
Should we go to the waterfall and see if there's
Oh.
something behind it?
Yeah, I'm just strange. I'm not seeing any tracks anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So we lost the tracks at the big 50-foot or 50-yard area,
Yeah.
or where did we lose the tracks? Basically,
they came into that opening, that plateaued area.
hmm
okay.
It looks like they went up this rise though, or this.
Looks like
Yes.
it, but oddly enough, you're not sure how it would go beyond this because it's like a cliff. Like you guys climb up out of the woods and you look over into this, this in front of you, a mountain, and you see a waterfall cascading down like 100 feet and then splitting off in both directions.
Is there a tree nearby that I can climb for a better view?
Yeah, there is. Make a, I forgot what the climbing skill is. Is climbing a thing? It is, right?
Yeah, climbing
Yeah,
is a
I
thing.
think- I'm
Climbing
sure
is a
it is.
thing. Unfortunately, I'm not very efficient at it.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
I don't think anyone is.
success.
All right. So Credo, you climb one of the big old trees that are kind of like by where you are. You get up towards the top. You're about 30 feet above, and you're at the top of the canopy. And so you could see very clearly now, like there is across this ravine, I mean, it's like 100-foot wide, is this wall of water coming down from this mountain even further past. And that there's, this water comes down, it hits this pool below and in this ravine, and it kind of splits off in both directions in a crescent-like fashion. You see this beautiful vista, and then you're like in the tree, and you like turn around and you look behind you, and you could see below where you guys went through the woods. And that's where you see the plateau. You see your horses tied up. And from this vantage point, you see the plateau very clearly. In the clearing is a circle. And you see that the stones actually you're like looking down, and they are perfectly equidistant around the circle. And you count 9 of them.
An alternate sacrifice. Am I too far up to holler down to the crew?
You can holler down. I mean, you could holler down.
But I could also climb back down and tell them in person.
I wouldn't have any problem with you hollering down next to a waterfall in a canyon. That's totally fine.
Totally. It's perfect. No,
Yeah.
I'll, if I've seen everything there is to see, I'll climb back down.
Okay. So you climb back down.
Tell the crew what I saw.
Really hating this new number. Not this new number. This number 9. It's getting old real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like an alternate sacrifice spot, similar to the one we've already found.
Pause. Ready? All right. So you guys have this. You've discovered this location, and it is clear to you now that there are some similarities, to say the least. Although this crescent plateau is definitely more scenic. You were in a much older wood on a much bigger mountain.
Does it look like there's a path behind the waterfall?
Well, you would have to navigate a way down into this ravine and then up to the other side.
Does it look like it's possible?
Sure.
Just kind of looking.
If you have
Anything's possible.
if you have ropes and grappling hooks, anything is possible. I will tell you, if you roll a 6 on your climb roll, though, you're going to fall and take damage.
Yeah, I have a 1 in my climbing, and I don't have any grappling hooks.
Alternatively, you could descend right from the plateau and go around on either side and climb up.
My question is where did the orcs go? We lost their tracks. Well, I want to find.
You want to go
Can we?
plateau?
Yeah, I want to
Where
search
did they come
someplace.
from?
Okay, go ahead. All of y'all, you climb back down. You get to the plateau. Your horses are still there. None of them have been eaten. Go ahead and make your bushcraft or search roll, whichever is better.
Bushcrafting this.
My search is better.
That's
I got a 2. That's a success.
Success. 2,
Nope.
3.
Okay.
That's a 5. Not gonna work.
There are 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stone clusters, right? Equidistant from the center of this. There's no doubt in your mind that there's a uncanny resemblance to the 9 petrified tree stumps that you found at the smaller crescent.
Did you say this wood was older than where the other was?
Yeah, the forest that you were in is way older.
Okay.
And this is a much bigger hill with a much bigger crescent.
This might be the original site where the other site is, where they're trying to replicate what they did here.
You find at the westernmost of the 9 rock clusters that you would pass as you ascend the hill to go up and see the waterfall, you find that there is a loose boulder on top of the cluster of boulders. And you feel like if you could move it, maybe it reveals something.
We got something we can use for leverage.
Yeah, there's branches.
Let's move it.
Swords.
Got these guns right here. I can
Ranch.
move it with.
I can sling a
Got
rope
huge
at least.
Elena, put your guns away. We're not
I would say that
we're not interested in
all of
biceps.
you together are able to leverage, lift, and slide this. When you slide this rock off, it rolls to the ground. It hits the ground, and you see that it reveals not a set of stairs, a very basic stone chute that heads down.
Anyone want to go for a slide?
Oh shit!
Elaine, if you slide, I'll be right behind you.
Now remember,
Is there a place to tie up a rope?
yes, sure, certainly. There are many strong, old, sturdy trees.
Yeah, at least tie up a rope
Tie off a rope and lead ourselves in.
so we can use the rope to crawl out again.
Okay.
Do I have rope?
I have rope.
Yeah, me too.
Going for light,
I do have
Plenty
some
of
rope.
us have rope.
because once you're 10 feet into this hole, it's pitch black.
Yeah. Well,
I still have a torch.
let's tie
I
some
can
rope
use it.
up. See how this goes.
I have a torch.
I'm not using torch.
No.
All right, who's the
Well,
first?
if we climb down, we're not going to be
One
able to hold,
One
use
in
the torch
front.
to go.
You have to light it when we get down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
We'll have to maybe traverse in darkness.
I'll
Yeah,
I'll
just-
go first.
Stealth your way down.
Okay, Elena, you go first.
Yes.
You go about 30 feet down.
Hmm.
You get to the end of your rope, and it seems to open up into a room of some kind, although it's very dark.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody pass you down a torch, or what do you do?
I wait for someone to come down with the torch,
All right, roll good. You're up next.
I'll go down behind Elena.
and
Okay.
I'm equipped.
All right. You can see that this opens up into a earthen chamber that is about 30 feet around. In the center of the chamber is a stone tablet. And there is what looks like a hooded, red-cloaked, red-robed, and hooded figure with its arms crossed, asleep on this stone slab.
Hmm.
The figure is not moving.
Is there anything else in the room?
Nope.
Is everyone down here just me and Roll good?
Well, you and Rollgood are there now.
Yeah.
Who's up next? Who goes down next?
I'll be down next.
Okay. Freya,
Mm-hmm.
make a wisdom roll under.
That's one of the other ones. Ooh, that's a 2. There's 5 under.
Excellent.
Okay. Credo, you go down next.
I do.
All right. Freya, you staying up top, or what are you doing?
Go down as well when the line goes slack.
Okay. You go down as well. You guys get down into this room. You have a light source you could see.
There he is.
Oh,
You froze for a second.
You froze for a second.
Looks like you're smart enough to follow us down.
I don't know why I'm freezing. All of you guys froze up. All right, so you guys all get down, and in this like circular kind of chamber, in the middle of this chamber, you see a stone slab, and laying on the stone slab, you see a figure in a red cloak with a red hood kind of pulled over their face, and they're not moving.
Hey, asshole.
I yell out, Igar, is that you?
There's no movement.
Someone with stealth remove the shroud from his face so we can see who it is.
I'm not
Go ahead.
stealthy.
I would say get some of the other ropes we have. I think I still have a rope if we use the roll goods. And 2 of us, the rope between us, and go
Come on.
down the sides and just basically strap the rope over the guy
Yeah.
before getting closer. So basically, we can hopefully hold them
I'll
down.
refrain him, hopefully.
I'm not gonna hold him down. I'm gonna hit this guy if he gets up.
Yeah, but try and hold them down, and if it moves, and then you can.
Okay. Who's doing the hold down with the ropes?
I
Who
would.
weighs the most?
I'm going to stand back.
Okay.
Freya and
Fredo then?
Kratos, if you guys want to do that.
You
Freya,
have other
I
than
got your back.
is Rollgood the only person with a torch right now? I just want to.
No, I have a torch as well.
So Rollgood has a torch, and Kratos has a torch. Freya has rope, and Elena, you have what? Your mace.
Yep, Mason Shield.
Okay, so you guys are all ready. What do you do?
Oh,
I guess since Brogood's hanging back, I'll get the hood, and then Fredo and Freya are holding him down.
yeah,
Sounds
we're gonna come from up the head side, just over the head and tie him down, and you can just walk right behind the rope, just ready to smash. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Rollgood, did you have a question or
No, I'm if I have my torch, I can't get out my bow. That's be too much.
Right.
I can't know. So I have the torch and the rapier.
Okay.
Ready,
Today
everyone?
is a good day to die.
I got money to spend, Kratos. I ain't dying today.
Elena, as you approach, you could see, imagine like the hood is covering the face, like for the most part, right? Like this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but you could see like the chin and the facial hair on the chin but it looks like another body that's been dead for a long time.
Yeah.
You pull back the hood and you see the long dead corpse of Niccolo Vincenzo.
Oh
Mm,
my god.
mm.
And this one looks like it's been dead for a really long time, kind of like the corpse of Lord
Lee.
Lee that you guys found in the
Yeah.
parking lot. You notice something though. There's no signet ring.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Mhm.
you notice something else as you pull the hood back. There seems to be a mark. You see this white, almost like a white scar. You feel like if you roll him over, you could see what it is.
I smashed his face then. I ain't rolling his head over.
Okay. Who else was
Freya and I are holding him.
all right? The rest of you guys just make a quick search roll. Let's see if you-
Okay. I got a 2. That's a success.
You
Yeah,
notice that
3.
there's something on the back of this corpse's neck.
Wait, before you smash him, just wait a moment. Let me try to
I'm
on
waiting.
the side that I'm holding with the rope.
Yeah, it's not heavy because all the fluids have drained out of this long ago, but it's kind of like crusty, and you pull it over and you see that there's a crescent shaped scar on the back of this body's neck.
But it's different from the ones that are on the current.
Well,
Does it differ at all from the ones
yes,
we've seen?
this looks like a branding,
Mm,
like burned onto the flesh. And this
interesting.
corpse is obviously, it's basically, for all intents and purposes, it looks like a mummy. I mean, the flesh is just like, it's completely desiccated. The flesh is peeled back. You see the facial hair and the curly dark hair are still intact on the corpse. And the features kind of, despite being desiccated, it looks like Niccolo Vincenzo.
Poor bastard. Well, should we try to put his signet ring back where it belongs?
It doesn't move at all. It's not moving.
I think it'd be fun to see what happens if we put a ring on him.
Go ahead.
No, I won't.
So what do you do?
Is there anything else on the altar or the table that we can see? Any kind of writing or?
Check his pockets.
I'm
There
sorry.
Check
There
his
are
pockets.
arcane and occult symbols all the way around the entire stone slab. It's very
Okay.
similar to what you guys found in the caves underneath the church, north
Yeah, that's what I thought.
of the town of Lee.
And
You
there's
guys wanna
nothing
check his
else in the
pockets?
room. I'll check.
There's nothing else in the room.
Okay, I'll check his pockets.
There are no. He is basically wearing a red robe, and there's nothing else underneath.
Okay.
You check.
Smash.
Smash or no smash?
Smash.
Might as well smash. You smash the rest of his split personality.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna
Okay.
kill the two Vincenzos that are waiting for
You
us.
smash the skull of this desiccated corpse. Smash cut.
Oh, jeez.
Slow.
Thank you. Grazie, grazie. Gizmo, you're sitting in the Arnulfson farm. You're like studiously, like
Yeah.
taking apart each page of this and like, reviewing it. And out of nowhere, both of the Vincenzos scream in pain, holding their heads, and then they drop to the floor. The guards jump up and they're like, what's going on? And they like run over there to check on them, and they like roll them over, and their eyes aren't even like closed. Like they're like dead. Like the guards are like, they're not breathing. There's
Guys,
Good.
you know what we did with the dead bodies last time?
no.
Let's burn them so they won't wake up.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. They take the bodies outside. Smash cut back to the stone chamber. So you
Well,
guys find yourselves in this stone chamber. There's nowhere out. You searched it thoroughly.
Okay. I would like to go back up
Okay.
and check out the other stone piles to see if there's anything that we could
Okay.
find.
You guys can make another roll. Either, I'll say because of this, it would be either bushcraft or search.
I'm bushcrafting the heck out of this.
Okay, search is better for me.
One
I got a
out of-
5. I didn't see anything.
I got a 3 out of my 5 dots.
2 out of 2 for searching.
Okay.
one
So
out of
those of
3 for me.
you, basically, you guys take more time. Okay. And what you find is that it looks like the orc tracks separate out in 2 different directions. They seem to go like north and south. As if maybe they came to this plateau and like milled around quite a bit. You're not really sure what they were doing. And then they marched.
Right. So the question is, should we go north or south?
And it looked like about equal numbers. Like there was a dozen from the north and a dozen from the south.
Right.
But their footprints are just all over the plateau. It was harder to find them though, because again, it looks like when they came to the plateau from the north and from the south, they were marching in single file, like to hide their numbers.
Yeah.
They left the plateau, they marched in single file. But when they were on the plateau, that it looks like they kind of like were all over the place. Their footprints were everywhere. And this does not look recent either. This looks like very old tracks.
Right. Because we've
Maybe
already
one-
just go ahead.
I was wondering if it was a training ground for them.
Could be.
You,
But
those of you who searched, Freya, I will say that you, in addition to the tracks, you were able to find a couple odd things here and there. Okay. You find a very small whetstone for like sharpening blades, like a handheld whetstone. And it actually, you almost walked right by it because it looks like it might have fallen and just landed next to one of the rock formations. But as you got closer, you're like, wait, this is clearly like carved. So you were actually able to find that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was wondering if any of the other 9 stones look similar to the west one we opened.
Yeah, I'm going to say that you check all of them. Okay. So you guys have now been up here for like an hour. It's
Yeah. So no more slides.
no.
We still got the upper waterfall area to investigate if we want to see if we can get down ravine and up and then check behind the waterfall
Mm,
if we want to do that.
if it
Or do we
wouldn't
want to
take
follow
too
the
long.
tracks to the south?
All right. You
Okay.
you start to descend. Are you leaving your horses and going on foot, or how are you guys doing this?
I don't want to leave the horses. If
So
we
you
can take them.
Walk the horses down.
Walk the horses.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
You walk the horses down. You go about a half mile down and around. You're following the tracks, and they seem to go back, and they get to one of the two splits of that crescent river. You cross over that. You find the tracks. Then you begin going up. Okay, and you get about halfway up, and you kind of see across the ravine at this point where you were, a couple 100 feet away, and you can't take the horses up anymore. Like, it becomes the kind of thing where you guys are going to have to make some climb
Brawl again.
rolls. So you find like kind of a little path where you can settle the horses. What I'm going to have you do is I will let you make climb rolls. If you have rope, you can add, you can give yourself a bonus. Okay. So if your climb is just the default of 1, but you're using rope, I'll let you have 3 dots. Okay.
Does a grappling hook help any?
Grappling hook will give you another dot. So if you have rope and a grappling hook, that'll get you up to 4 dots. If you have a dot and climb, you just add it to that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
So I have.
one extra for rope.
No, 2
I have-
extra for rope and an extra for grappling hook.
So that would
Okay.
need 3.
That's just 3
Okay.
down.
That'd get me up to 4.
So if you don't have that, one person can make the roll, and if they successfully make the roll, a person who doesn't have that equipment can use the same equipment.
Okay.
I have a successful roll and grappling hook and rope.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll roll for climbing then also. And that's a 3 out of 4, so that's
Okay.
a success.
And yeah, between us, we've got enough to get everyone where we need to be.
Okay.
I made it. I got a 3 out of 3.
Okay. You guys climb up, and the sound of the waterfall is just so loud. Like you're climbing up the side of the mountain. Waterfall's still like 150 feet away from you, but it's still like that big of a sound, right? As it's falling over this cliff. You get up to the top of this plateau, and you climb over these rocks, and these trees are there. And you could see kind of through the trees where the river is, that is actually snowmelt coming from even higher up. Okay. But it's basically level out ground. And you move kind of through the trees, and you see that there's this, again, another kind of plateau before there's another mountain. Make search and or bushcraft rolls.
I failed.
Success
Oh.
on the bushcraft.
5 against 2.
That's on the search 2 of 3.
Okay. About 500 yards upriver, you see another waterfall. And it looks like where the snow melt is coming from, because it basically leads up to another even taller mountain, right? And there's like snow. You see that this waterfall that's about 500 yards up the river seems to be like there's a cluster of rocks and some pine trees, but there's very little else growing up there.
Seems the way to go.
As you're walking along, make another bushcraft or search roll.
That's a 1 this time. Success.
2 out of
Yeah.
5.
That's the
3.
one.
You guys pick up the tracks of orcs.
Yes.
It looks like they seem to have used the same route, both coming and going, where they walk kind of along the riverbank. So as you guys are emerging from this and you're kind of walking upriver, you see that their tracks very much mirror along the riverbank as if they're heading towards this waterfall.
Walk towards the
Pressing
waterfall.
on.
Okay.
Walk towards the waterfall.
You guys get up to the waterfall. You see it is significant, though not as big of a drop off and not as powerful of a cascade of water as the other one. But it still seems, I mean, first of all, the water, even the spray of the water is like cool. Like the air is significantly colder here. And you see that it looks like there's like a series of rocks that are adjacent to like the edge of each side of the waterfall. And it almost looks like there's a way to maybe go around that rock. It's very muddy in this area because of the dampness that's constantly hitting it. So you're not sure if the tracks, it looks like maybe the tracks kind of go around this rock.
Yeah. Go around the rock carefully and maybe try to brace myself on the rock as I go around so I don't slip in the mud.
Okay. As you go around the rock, you see that there's kind of like a natural dip, like a niche almost, that cuts behind the flow of the water, as if somehow you can almost go behind this waterfall. You see kind of the rocky overhang. You see a lot of moss growing along this side, but like it looks like if you squeeze behind this, you can almost go behind this waterfall.
Let's check it out.
Let's go. Do we need torches? Is it dark behind there?
Looks pretty dark. I mean, you have daylight, so you could see like within 10 feet of it that it's just damp, very damp rock.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay. You guys kind of dip in and you find yourself in this cave, and the sound of the water falling behind you is like dominating your soundscape, right? You can't really hear anything else. You could see in about 15 feet from the light, kind of the diffused light coming through the waterfall. And it looks like this cave goes back. It goes deep, far beyond what you could see without any additional light sources.
So I light my torch.
Okay.
I'll light my torch.
Please. I'm not
guys-
lighting the torch.
You guys take a minute to light up torches. Freya, what do you have in your hands?
You got my rapier and my shield up.
Okay.
Mason
Elena,
shield.
okay.
Mason shield.
Roll good. Torch and
Torch and rapier.
okay. And Credo, torch and what?
Torch and sword.
Okay. You guys light your torches and you hold them up. And as the torchlight kind of flickers and illuminates this cave, it is very clear to you now that this cave is something that's occupied. For starters, you see mounted along both sides of this cave wall, you see what look like the skull of maybe a bear on each side. And these are not fresh kills. These look like they were, skinned and bleached years ago, but they're kind of mounted on the stone. And it seems like as you look in further that this cave kind of rises up a little bit. So you're kind of at the lower part of it, but it looks like it rises up and ascends to kind of a drier area about 30 feet down.
Proceed with caution.
Proceeding with caution. Okay.
I would say with stealth, but
There we go. Go ahead and make a stealth roll.
four against four.
Yeah, you're carrying torches, so I mean,
Yeah.
there's only so much stealth you can be, but you guys are kind of
5.
proceeding with both caution and stealth, and you get to the lip of this thing, and you're kind of holding your torches low, and you see light up ahead.
Put
You
the
see
torch
like
out immediately.
flickering torch light.
I put my torch out immediately.
Okay, roll good.
I do the same.
Okay.
when I see Kratos do that.
You see up this kind of natural rocky ramp. Further into the cave, you see torchlight. And you're not hearing a lot because the sound of the waterfall's right behind you. It's like this constant like but you smell something, like something cooking, some kind of meat cooking, and you see the flickering of torchlight and maybe some kind of campfire.
Keep moving
Kratos,
with
I have a
stealth.
Red Crescent robe. Would you like to put that on and walk up to our friends and say hello?
I'll put the robe on, but I will move in stealthily to see if I can overhear talking or see better before they see me.
Okay.
And I'll be behind him, and I'm going to put away my rapier and pull out my bow then.
Okay. So it's going to take a minute. You do that. He puts on the red robe. You're going to make a stealth check.
3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5.
Okay. You begin moving up, and you see up ahead that the cave kind of ends in a big cavernous chamber. Okay. And it's another 60 feet deep, and it's at least another 60 feet wide. So kind of this big semicircular cavern, natural formed, nothing man-made. And you see in the center of this, you see a big kind of bonfire with a hunk of meat that looks like maybe mountain goat on a spit being roasted. And you see to the backs of you, you see like 3 guys in armor sitting on these kind of like very basic wooden benches, and they're kind of sitting around the fire. They have their backs to you. Off to each side, you see these like bedrolls, like a collection of bedrolls. You don't see any more people in this chamber, just the 3 at the fire with their backs to you.
Can I surmise if they're orc or human?
Based on how they're dressed and based on everything you've tracked, this looks like those armored orcs.
Armored orcs. Okay, I go back to the rest of the group and tell them what I found.
All right.
So he returns, he explains to you guys what he saw.
Did you see any other chambers, or is it just one chamber?
I saw one large chamber, about 60 feet in diameter, with 3 of what look like the armored orcs.
Well,
We-
should we kill? Huh?
Just do a coordinated arrow attack on them.
Coordinated arrow attack.
Good.
Yeah,
I'd
just
like to get a sneak attack on him.
I got some good sneak attack too.
well, they would always be surprised. So, but probably just the one. So either
Well, just leave one alive.
well, there's 4 of us. So if each target, 2 of us target one of them, so that 2 of them are targeted by 2 of us.
Yeah,
Then that's one unaimed at.
yeah. So we'd leave one alive if we take him out successfully.
Yeah, at least we'll have 2 arrows towards 2 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And see what happens after.
So
Since
I need
there's-
to know who are you guys are going to get the surprise attack.
Yeah.
Which for those of you who have sneak attack will give you a significant advantage.
Yep. I've got 5 dots.
I have 6.
I have 4 dots on snake.
I have 4.
So who has the least?
I have
Correct.
4.
Kratos and Burlgood have 4.
We have 4 each.
Okay.
So it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So, so I'll take one with Kratos, and Elaine and
take
Rogue
the
will
other
take
one.
the other one.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so Orc 1, Orc 2, and Orc 3. I'm going to say who is attacking Orc 1?
Me and Burlgood.
Okay, Orc 2.
No, take number 3 on the
3,
either end.
3. So yeah,
Okay, so 1 and
the
3.
2 outside, and we'll leave the one in the middle.
All right, so let's do. So you're catching them flat-footed, obviously, and you get to add in your sneak attack if you hit.
Yep.
So roll good. Go ahead and roll, and Elena, go ahead and roll. Tell me what you get.
D20, right, for the attack. Oh, that's a nat 20.
Oh yeah, baby. That is a 13 for me.
Okay, 13 is not a hit, even flat-footed,
Damn.
because they are wearing armor. So roll good. You do hit. So your bow damage is D6.
Right.
So you get 6 automatically, plus roll another D6.
And that's a 5.
Okay, so that's 11, and add in your sneak attack damage.
My sneak attack is then times 4.
Oh my god.
Right to the back of the skull.
All right.
Don't forget, we have a +2 to hit for sneak attack.
What?
Oh, Elena, you hit then. It's
Oh shit.
because it's dead.
Yeah.
All right. Orc
Exactly.
number 3, Freya and Fredo, go ahead and roll.
6.
Dirty 20.
That was 30 damage from me.
How the heck? 4.
All right. So Fredo, you hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Times 4.
Wait, it's the bow, right? 5.
18.
Oh, 5. Come on. Crap.
Okay. Everybody roll initiative.
D6 plus your dex.
I got 8.
Initiative is
is-
just a D6, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Plus
plus
dex.
your dex.
Oh yeah.
So that's a 4.
3.
Freya 3, Elena 4, roll good 8, Credo what?
5.
Okay. Oh no. All right. Well, this is gonna go quick. All right. So Brolgood, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to take
Yeah.
a shot.
On Orc 3 did not kill it. You see it turning and like it got hit and now it's like turning to reach for its weapon, as is the other one.
I'm going to take a shot at number 3.
Okay.
And that is a 14.
That's a hit, just barely. Regular damage.
5 points of damage.
Okay. Still up. Okay. Credo, you're up.
Excellent. 17.
Hit. Damage.
Uh, 7.
Just enough.
Ah,
Drops. Orc 2 is up. He pulls his sword and runs to you and attacks. Hitting an AC 17 on Elena.
Nope.
Miss?
That's a miss, man.
Ching.
yes.
19 AC.
That's
Um,
badass.
This means that Elena, you are now up. And orc number 2 is not with you. He is right in front of
Yeah.
you.
Counter attack.
No, I'm gonna grapple. I'm gonna take this guy down.
Oh, snap. It's on. Make that roll.
That's a strength roll under.
Strength roll under.
Oh, come on.
That didn't sound good.
I rolled a 16.
You did not win. This brings us to Freya.
Yeah. So number 2 is the only one still up.
Yes. Unwounded. Not
And he's right up close by.
yep.
But since I still have my bow out, I'm gonna a short range pin him. Come on. That's a 7.
Fail.
You're also in the naughty corner.
I think
guess
we
I
did
was-
we did grappling wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Wrestling is resolved with a contested roll. Both parties roll a d20 and apply both their melee attack bonus and strength modifier. Ties are
Yeah.
decided by dex. So
Yeah.
we're gonna re-roll. So add up your total.
So I roll again?
Uh-huh.
That's way fucking worse.
Oh, I thought you got a get out of jail free card right there.
No, I mean I had rolled a 16 before, but I just rolled a fucking 5. So melee attack plus my strength. My melee attack.
You no longer have a weapon.
No, I don't.
Choose whether you're immobilized or disarmed.
What was that?
So he can choose whether you were immobilized or disarmed. So you need to make a
Oh.
save versus paralyzation.
Oh,
A save versus paralyzation.
This game is so
Okay. Wow.
It's up at the top in your saving throws.
Yeah.
some
Probably 14.
brutal ass
come,
shit.
come at me. The fact that I have to look up this many tables to resolve something is dumb. Better than everybody in this game system.
So I need to roll higher than my saving throw.
Watch,
Correct.
like next month I'll get murdered by some Finnish heavy metal guy.
And in local news, the Lamenters move over to Arakazine.
All right, so you have to beat a 14.
Yeah. All right, let's roll it. And nope, I failed.
Okay, there you go. Your weapon is down.
Yeah.
Clang, it's on the ground. All right,
Yeah, I dropped my bow.
It's 3-on-1. Can we rush to Elena's aid?
you can go ahead. Roll good. You're up first.
So I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna run up and try to grapple him.
Okay, make a contested strength plus melee attack roll.
That's a 16
He has a
plus
total of,
my plus my strength is 17.
And your attack bonus.
and your attack bonus.
Where's my attack bonus?
Should be under your weapon.
Determine-
Oh, plus 2, so that's a 19.
all right. So you want to immobilize him.
Yes, I want to hold him.
Okay. So on his action, he can attempt to escape, but as of right now, you have him grappled. All right. So that brings us up to Corrado.
I'd like to hit him with the butt of my sword
Okay.
in the back of the neck.
Attack roll.
18.
Yep, that works. What's your strength bonus?
My strength bonus is +1.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yes, +1.
You do some blunt damage to him. He is going to try to break out of his hold. He fails. That was a shitty roll. Elena, you're up.
I put my knee on his chest and hold him down.
Okay.
Someone tie him up.
Quick.
And this gets us to Freya.
That was my idea. Grab my rope, drop my bow, grab the rope, and start tying him up.
Okay. So with 3 people holding him down and 1 person tying him up, he is effectively captured. You guys
Yes.
were essentially able to capture him. His longsword sits on the ground. The bodies of the other 2 orcs are basically just around the campfire where they were dropped. And this orc looks like he's like looking at all of you, and he looks very unhappy.
First, I'll move the dead orc bodies into the fire pit.
Gross. This is gonna stink.
Okay.
I want them to
They're not
stay dead.
dry, so they if you move them in the fire pit, they're gonna kind of like,
Kratos,
I
just
guess-
cut their heads off. You don't need to
This-
burn the whole
well,
body.
I don't know what we're dealing with here. What, you guys think I should just cut the head off then?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
I'll
gonna spoil
remove I'll remove the head while I look at the live orc.
You're gonna spoil the meat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, the goat meat does look like if it cooks for another hour, it'll be fantastic.
Oh, we're eating tonight, fellas.
Yeah.
And ladies.
You see that the one orc is just like staring at you. He seems to not be affected by your brutality at all in removing the heads of his comrades.
That's no fun.
Kick him right in the face.
You kick him in the face. He winces in pain. You hear his jaw kind of sounds like it might be slightly out of place.
Good.
I would like to take a look around the room to see if there's anything else that
Mm-hmm.
Search roll.
Let's do that search.
that is a 4 out of 4.
Nope. 3
That
against.
was I got 6.
3 out of 4 for me as well.
Okay. For those of you who made your rolls, I will give you a lowdown. You count a total 24 bedrolls. These bedrolls look like they haven't been used in a while. The 3 bedrolls that are closest to the fire seem to be those that belonged to the 3 orcs that were by the fire. You see provisions in basically along the far wall of the cavern. You see just piles of provisions, right? Like you see like smoked meat. You see like a bunch of kind of like moldy looking bread and stuff that maybe looks like it was looted from other trade caravans. You know, you see like bags of rice that look like they haven't even been opened. You see like some basic mess kit kind of cooking materials, and you see like some elements that look like maybe they were supplies that didn't even get opened up. Like you find a crate that contains a bunch of tools like pickaxes and shovels, or picks and shovels, hammers and crowbars, like not even used, like still sitting in a crate. And you also see like a table that has like 4 more suits of padded armor with the stitched crescent on them. You see a bunch of whetstones for like sharpening weapons. That's about all that's left.
There are no exits to this room except for where we came in.
Yep, correct.
So should we interrogate our friend?
Mm-hmm.
With pleasure.
He just kind of looks at you guys expectantly. He doesn't say anything though the whole time.
Who would like to ask the questions?
I would like to know who you're working for. And where is he? Or she?
The masters in red robes.
Where are they? Where does he?
Have not been here in a long time.
So he comes to you.
Masters made rituals to make the dead rise. Have not come back in a long time.
Masters? How many masters?
3 masters in red.
How many moons?
Many.
Hmm. Interesting. Where did those masters go?
Don't know.
What was your plan? Were you to stay here or were you to rejoin them?
We stay to keep base. Wait for the return of others.
How many more of there are you?
24.
How long have they been gone?
Last squad gone about week. Others not return.
Yeah, we know. They won't be returning.
I think we can spare this one.
You want to spare
He's
this?
lost. He's lost all of his countrymen. He serves no threat to us.
He could return to his masters.
We could follow him.
You say I'm last one.
Yes.
We believe so.
I will. If you let live, I will take off armor and boots and helmet and leave weapon. I will go back to my tribe and see if they will take me back.
I have a question. Were you stolen from your tribe, or did you leave of your own free will?
Free will?
Did
What
you go to the wizards of your own accord?
No, had to.
That's what I feared.
Took our children. Took little ones.
And raised them as soldiers.
No. Took our children.
No, to use
Picked
them against you.
strongest orcs. Picked strongest orcs from each tribe. All throughout the Western Plains.
Use children as
And
leverage.
fight for them. Said we train for them and fight for them. And then if we succeed, we let go. We given weapons. We given monies. We given things and get our children's back.
The hostages.
Been a long time. Been many years now.
Are the children gone, do you fear?
Masters in red robes, not to be trusted. Evil. Probably.
Would you like revenge?
Probably children have been dead.
Would you like revenge?
Don't know.
I don't see the fighting spirit in you, but we could use your help.
Tell you things. Not want to fight. Just want to.
Don't want to fight. Understood. Part crew.
Is there
don't
anything
know
else
what
you can tell
else.
us about the masters that might help us? We want to find them as well, and we want to get rid of them.
Masters, humans, not young, not females, is men.
Do they look same or different?
One is a little bit shorter, not tall like you, but dark skin and curly hair like you, with mustache and chin beard. Other one is taller, is fair-skinned man, and he looks at Brolgood like you, but is older. Is dark hair with white and longer beard, brown with grays.
Does this look like he's describing Vincenzo or Lord Lee?
It could be.
And the third one?
Third one is very old human man. Walks slow.
Have you heard their names before other than Master?
Never said names. But other two listen to oldest one the most. Oldest one, him no secrets for sorcery that makes the dead walk. You're muted. No?
No, we're not saying
I'm
anything.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, sorry.
Thinking.
We're just thinking this over.
So he kind of, you could tell that this orc, like, even for an orc, he looks like he probably hasn't seen the sunlight in like a long time. He just kind of looks dejected, as if he's not sure whether you're going to slit his throat or let him go.
Would you like to see the sunlight? Feel it on your face.
Would like
More
to.
time.
Would like to go to return to my people and walk the plains.
Will they accept you back?
Do not know. Do not know if children live or died. Have not been with my people in many years now.
Are your people near here?
No,
Very far.
in Western Plains.
Do we know how far the Western Plains are?
Yeah, like 100 miles.
Oh,
No.
shit.
We
Like-
couldn't surmass an army and come back to Castle Lee with them.
Where were you first taken when they picked you up? Were you taken to the same place as the children were?
No. Children
Where,
children were taken by some human man, like a knight, him have armors and weapons. He was the captain.
He was one of those three guys?
No, he was like servant for Masters in Red. He trained us after Masters told us we must serve.
And where was that? Was that here or elsewhere?
No, it was south. In the open lands between the plains. My
And
my
can we
people,
take out a map and see if the map would reach that
No.
area?
your map doesn't even cross this. Like your map basically ends where you guys are, and you know that there's like 100 miles of forest if you keep going west before it even gets to the plains. He says captured and gathered by the broken lands. My people call them the broken lands. The place where the rocks are jagged and nothing grows.
So away from the orc so he can't hear us, I want to gather the crew up and have a small conversation.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So if we've killed the rest of his kin, and I believe that one of the masters is probably dead, that gives us 2 masters and maybe an army of zombies,
Oh, and the captain.
and the captain, who we still need to identify. I think we might need reinforcements to storm Castle Lee, unless we go on a stealth mission.
It sounds like wherever they are is still quite a distance away. And I don't think we should try this on our own. We should at least get Gizmo back
Agreed.
and the soldiers and the Vincenzos perhaps. The 4 of us are not going to be going out that far
No,
and
No.
leaving
We need to
Gizmo
get
hanging.
back.
we will
Just-
probably need reinforcements.
Gather what we could take from here and get back to the Arnoldsons and then get back to Castle Lee and destroy these candlesticks or candle holders.
Yeah,
Let's free the orc and allow him to return home.
yeah.
I agree.
So be it.
So you have a vendetta against all orcs, but this one has done us no harm, Elena.
So
Mhm.
you guys
Let
free
him gather whatever he can from this place and send him on his way.
if you guys free him, you see that he does exactly as he said. He takes his boots off. He takes the armor off and just throws it at the floor, almost like in anger. You see he walks over to one of the bedrolls. He rolls it up. And he's like nude right now, okay? He rolls up the bedroll. He grabs another blanket and wraps it around himself, almost like a toga. And then, kind of takes the bedroll and the blanket. You see he goes over by the provisions and he grabs like a water skin and he rips off a chunk of meat from the goat, and you could tell it's like not even cooked all the way. It's like very pink on the inside, and he just starts eating it. And then he goes over by the other tools and provisions, and you see he just grabs like a sharp knife, like a utility knife almost, and he kind of like puts that in like his wrapped up toga thing. And you see he kind of like looks around and he grabs some of the padded armor and he shreds some of it and like cuts off part of the lower part of the armor and puts it around his feet. And then he kind of like walks over to you again and he looks at you and he says, "Thank you."
Safe journey. I'm sorry for your loss.
"I go to my people." He turns and he walks away and heads out towards the waterfall entrance. So you guys are in this cavern. What do you want to do?
I recover my bow and recover my arrow if it's not broken.
Okay.
I have 2 arrows that I'd like to see if they're broken or not.
Oh, yeah, they're fine.
In the orc bodies.
Okay, then I get those back.
Well, see if there's some money. Let's get on out of here or anything else.
You find no money. I mean, you guys searched pretty thoroughly. If you're in the market for like tools, there's, like I said, those picks, hammers, crowbars, that kind of stuff. There are probably a dozen daggers, a half dozen long swords, and a half dozen suits of padded leather armor.
Well, what have you experienced? A crowbar sounds pretty interesting to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to grab a pick and a dagger myself.
Okay.
I don't need anything.
I'm
Alright.
good.
Okay. You guys make your way around through the waterfall. You descend. You go back down using the ropes that you left in place. You end up having to leave one of the ropes, unless you guys want to make a climb roll without a rope. Anyone? No? Okay.
No.
I'll leave mine.
You leave yours. All right. You get to the horses. You guide the horses down the hill, around the creek, back up to the plateau, or no? Or are you going back to the Arnoldsons?
Are we gonna, because there was one other way that the tracks were coming in. Do we want to investigate that or do we want to skip back?
You mean trek north?
Yeah.
On the other.
Yeah, but I wouldn't stay committed to that trek for long. We should get back to Gizmo as soon as possible.
Well, so I'm gonna tally up the time. Ballpark, it's about 2 p.m. You follow the northern route, and it looks like essentially that group of orcs just went around the same way, crossed the river, and went up. So you guys kind of abandon that plan after figuring out where they're going. You head back to the Arnoldsons. You make it back to the Arnoldsons by dark. And
Okay.
you are now, Gizmo, 1 more hit point up.
Okay.
None of the rest of you guys got to heal because you were doing things. When you guys get to the Arnoldsons, you see a curious thing. In the yard, about 50 feet out from the house, you see 2 charred corpses. And like, I mean, a wood pile, but like 2 charred corpses. You go into the house, you see the guards are basically like, it looks like they've been asleep. And you see Gizmo with like a couple candles, kind of sitting at a table reading.
Welcome,
That's
guys.
your Soze.
What were you doing? Seems like you have killed another Vincenzo.
Apparently.
It
Are
looks like we
those
killed,
two
we killed the
Vincenzos
original.
outside?
Yeah, they dropped dead.
When you guys come in, the guards wake up and they're like, oh, sorry. And they're like, apologies.
Great job guarding, guys.
You look tired. Get some sleep.
The only unfortunate thing is that your provisions are pretty low.
Yeah.
But you do have a wood pile up back, so at least you are able to stoke the fire.
Well, were we able to spot some wildlife on the track back that we could have?
I will let you all make a bushcraft roll at a higher difficulty.
Nope.
Nope.
It'll be hard enough without the
I
difficulty.
even failed.
I
Okay.
failed.
Failed. I failed without any help. Thanks, Bill.
No food for you. You just get to drink water.
We didn't take any of the damn
Right.
goat.
Yeah. No, we didn't.
Jeez.
We didn't.
There is also a 50-pound bag of rice you could have taken. So you all receive a F for adventuring today.
Oh, we failed.
We still have horses.
Yeah,
Rookie
you-
mistake.
Eat
so-
one of the horses.
So Gizmo, you feel rested from resting, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you're tired. So you go to sleep. First watch goes by, second watch goes by. Nothing is going on near the Arnoldson home. Everybody who was at half gain another hit point. If you were at half or above, you get another hit point for sleeping all night long.
If by today I was at 7 out of 14, is this rounded up or down?
Yes, up. So you
Okay.
gain. So the morning comes. 3 days now have you been? This is the third day at the Arnoldson farm. What do you guys want to do?
So, guys, would you tell me what happened yesterday? Oh, this
Oh,
is
we definitely killed another Vincenzo. This one was we went deep in the forest and Credo actually discovered we found a plateau where we tracked the orcs, and then we went up again and found like a little vista. Credo climbed the tree and looked down and discovered, of course, 9 very perfectly shaped boulders down below on the plateau. We went back down, uncovered a little like sliding shaft into the hill, went down, discovered a body in a red robe, and it was a very old corpse like the Lord Lee we found in the mine. It was another Vincenzo looking fellow. I crushed his skull, and I'm pretty sure that's why the other 2 are dead outside. And then we didn't find anything else in there, right? Guys, lady?
We found
No.
just the orcs.
Right.
orcs, you say?
Yeah, so then we left that, found another trail, were able to climb up behind the waterfall. We found 3 orcs, took out 2 of them, interrogated the last one, and found out that the masters had been kidnapping their tribe's orc children and making them pretty much work for them. And
Indentured servitude.
yeah, basically indentured servants. We've killed all the other orcs because the beds amounted to about the amount of orcs we'd killed, and the other orcs you told me and Credo you killed early on, and he was the last. And we came back.
But
Oh,
with what we know about the Vincenzos now, it leads me to believe that the Lord Lee that we have come to know may be dead as well.
why is that?
Because we found his original corpse
Oh,
removed
the
him of
mine.
his face.
Okay.
See,
Well-
with what happened here with the Vincenzos, it seems to me that they're all part of the singular consciousness that was the old corpse in both cases. And since we destroyed those corpse-like beings, the others fell.
Well, that means that we have basically our problems should be solved then, eh?
All except for what to do with these.
Well, I think our problems got bigger.
yeah,
With-
you know.
No
Why you
more
think
Lee
so?
in the castle.
Well,
And we still, we have learned that there are 3 magic users of
Masters.
sorts, 3 humans, plus a captain that were probably behind all this zombie stuff that's been going on. And they kidnapped the orc children to force a whole bunch of orcs into their service. So those orcs aren't really happy, but they're afraid of the magic users.
You said there were 3. Do we know who were they?
Not really. By the description, this did sound like they looked like might resemble Lord Lee and Vincenzo, but it sounds unlikely that it's another Vincenzo because we have 9 of them in the roll that included plus number 10 the original Vincenzo. So that's probably not a. I don't think that would be Vincenzo and Lee and someone else. And the leader was a really, really old human, according to the orc.
Oh,
Are you guys going to stay at the Arnulfson farm, or are you heading out?
it seems like good
Probably.
time to head back and
Probably.
see what
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah, head back to
Okay.
Lee Castle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this parade of horses. Your 2 guards. You kind of pack up. You close up the Arnulfson farm, and then you guys begin heading out. And it's as it is morning. You make great time. You kind of circumvent and avoid Oak Point, but the village itself is extremely quiet. There don't seem to be any zombies walking around Oak Point. It's literally like a ghost town. So you guys pass Oak Point and you continue going up the North Road, and you find yourself over by the Kerr farm, and you see that the Kerr farm like seems to be in operation, and you actually see Matthias out in the fields, and you see him kind of like stop what he's doing. He sees the train of horses, and he gets on a horse and he rides over towards the gate by you guys as you're passing by. And he says, "Well, my friends, it's good to see you all alive.
Good,
Though
good to see.
I'm surprised to see quite a few empty horses there. Not as many men as you rode through with."
Well,
Lost many.
Not
Yeah.
all of us were lucky.
how's undead situation around here? Have you had anything new?
Very quiet, disturbingly quiet.
We saw we had runnings with around 100 of them. I don't know. I might
50, 60.
exaggerate.
Oh, big battle then, huh? Well, that'll explain why you have a few less in your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you headed off to now?
Well, we have some errands at Castle Lee. We should at least return the extra horses.
And bring news of what happened.
Do you have any news from last 3 days around?
Not so, my
somebody?
friend. Like I said, it's been very quiet, peculiar almost. But I haven't let my guard down. I'm not so comfortable yet to assume that
You need to stay vigilant.
Yes, indeed, we have been. Well, safe travels through the North Road. Hopefully you won't have any problems along the way up to the village of Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Me too hope so.
Thank you.
Good luck.
He nods. You guys kind of continue up the North Road then. You travel through the day, through the woods. Very rarely you will see a wandering zombie off in the middle of the woods. And like just a single one that looks like it's just like bobbling around. Sometimes they're like caught up in the underbrush and like they're kind of like trapped. But like nothing like the numbers you've seen in other situations. And as you guys, kind of get through the majority of the way of the Great Forest, you reach that bend and then ultimately that opening, and up ahead, you see the river and the crossing. You see the bridge, and you see multiple barricades and fortifications and spiked kind of these spiked barricades, and you see many zombies like pinned and trapped on these things, some of them impaled on the spears and just kind of like flailing around. But as you're like approaching, you see like there's these wooden palisades built on the other side of the rivers with like archer slots, and you see multiple soldiers kind of manning them. One of them is on a platform that's about 6 feet off the air, and you see he's kind of looking out towards you guys, and you see he's like, "There are riders approaching, sir, riders." And then you see another man run up to the platform, and it looks like one of the captains from Castle Lee. And he comes up and he says, "They're going to need to get through. You men, grab those shields, form a phalanx, and go push through that zombie horde up there to let them through." And you hear a whistle being blown, and you see a group of like 4 men each kind of flanking, and they start pushing through across the bridge, and they move this grouping of wooden barricades that are spiked up, and they kind of like blow out past the cluster of zombies, kind of pushing them aside and opening up a way for you guys to get through. You guys ride through, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys ride through as fast as you can. All the horses, you guys get through, and then they kind of pull back and they abandon the barricades, and the zombies kind of cluster up, but they can't really break through. You get to the other side of the bridge, and you come through, and the captain looks at you and he goes, "My God, your numbers are decimated. What happened?" And you guys kind of briefly fill him in, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Letting
Leaving out some of the details.
those 2 guards stay here.
Yeah, so
They'll
tells-
explain.
Yeah, he tells you that they have stayed vigilant in these last 3 days. As you could see, dozens of zombies that have clustered here, but they've managed to hold the line. They've had reports of zombies like further out along the river, kind of tumbling into the river and trying to cross, but most of they have like sentinels, kind of, soldiers that are on horseback and soldiers on foot with arrows that are kind of picking these off. He also tells you that they have not had any other encounters other than these zombies. There have been no other soldiers, no other orcs, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
As you guys are about to leave to depart to the castle, the captain says, "Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, my friends, but while you were gone, a very terrible thing happened. Yesterday. No, day before yesterday, my apologies. Lord Lee passed away."
Probably more like 4 or 5 days by now.
4 days, 5. He's like 4.5 days ago. Lord Lee passed away. I hate to be the bearers of bad news, but I'm sure that everyone back at the castle will be glad to hear from you and hear about your tasks.
So who's in charge now?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Well, Lady Lee is going to be taking over family affairs, but of course, as you know, the steward of the castle, Magister Jones, is always there to help the family. So,
Of course he is.
Okay.
he's been handling the management of many things.
Any news about Magister Mayer?
Is that the magistrate from?
Oak Point.
Yeah, I believe he's there as well.
Okay.
I do notify the captain that there are still some zombies roaming the area that we saw coming up.
We will be vigilant, to be sure.
There are still some out there.
Indeed.
Otherwise, the safe area, if you want to scout out, is Kerr Farm. They have been barricaded there.
We will toe the line. Godspeed to you. The rest of the way should be clear.
All right.
You
Be safe.
guys leave there. You haul. You head out. You get through another round of barricades, but there's no zombies, but like there's definitely a palisade and barricades. You guys get into the village. You see that like there's another range of about 20 townsfolk who have kind of been manning the village, although you don't see any sign of zombies. And in the distance, you see the castle. And as you're riding through the village, you gotta, you see a lot of people kind of peeking out, and they're like whispering and murmuring and pointing at you guys, like, and somebody even stops and they're like, "What news do you have from the south?" Oh, point, and you're like, "Later," and you keep riding. You go up the rocky, kind of rise up to the castle, and you get to the castle gates. There's a guard at the castle gates who's like, "The riders have returned, sir. Open the gates." And they open the gates. You guys ride into the castle yard. The blacksmith's there. The stable, guys are there. There's a few dozen soldiers inside the castle gates. Some of the stable boys assist you with the horses, and one of the lieutenants kind of comes to you guys and asks you to dismount, and he's like, you're expected. Please, no, I'm sure you've had a hard time, but come into the castle. I don't know if you heard along the way, but Lord Lee has passed away.
We heard from the captain at the bridge.
Very tragic. His body is lying in state. The family has been in mourning for 3 days, but you may speak with the steward, Magister Jones. He will speak with you. Please come in. The lieutenant takes you in to not the office of Magister Jones, but to the parlor. And the parlor is empty. No one's in there. The lieutenant bows to you guys and he walks out. And a moment later, not through the parlor doors in the main hallway where you guys entered, but through those private doors where Lord Lee used to enter, the doors open and you see Magister Jones. He is wearing his same attire, although he has a black sash around his neck, which to be a typical sign of people who are in mourning. And he walks in and he says, "Welcome back, my friends. I have been told that your numbers were somewhat decimated." He sits down and he says, "Come, you are at rest now. We shall have time. You can speak to me about what occurred." And that is where we'll end this episode of the Lamenters. Tune in to find out what happens next as the Lamenters debrief with Magister Jones. Thanks as always for watching, for subscribing, for liking, and for supporting the channel. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, it's me, Wizzy. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. And then don't forget to tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and crafting videos and DM tips and pro tips for vlogging and all sorts of gaming things.